Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Waypool podcast, VP-podden. This one is in English, and we have some really nice guests here today. We have Thomas and Rozlynn and Filipe. I think in the Waypool world here in Sweden, nobody knows who these guys are, but in the Amstaff world, at least some knows, and we will have a really nice conversation today. I'm positive. Yeah, welcome, guys.
Hi, and thank you. Thank you so much for having us. This is a great honor for us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the
Thank you
honor
very
is
much.
all mine. Yeah,
Oh,
Thank you very much also to all of you.
yeah,
this is wonderful. I mean, this is it's all positive, and this is what the breed, even the show version, but also the performance that we do need to come together because it's for the future of the breed.
yeah, yeah. So to clarify to some of the listeners, these are kind of experts and at least a long time in the breed of American Staffordshire Terrier. We had a little talk here before, and it was called something else a little bit in the beginning of the breed, but I'm sure we're going to come back to that. But could you please introduce yourself a little bit about your history and who you are? Yeah, let's start with Thomas.
Okay, well, my name is Thomas Mount. I was in the breed back in the early 60s, 1960s. A lot of the old dogs that you see in the golden age of Amstaffs, I saw them in person, and I had a dog, a champion ruffian, Don's Rebel of Harwin, who won the 67 Westminster show at Madison Square Garden, and also the National in 1969. And so I knew all the old breeders that participated in the Nationals and went to the banquets and such. And none of them are around today except maybe, Bill Peterson and myself.
Yeah.
Who gave you the puppy?
Oh, Mr. Ringo gave me the puppy. Yeah. I'll talk about that when. Basically, how I got into Amstaffs, I was a teenager and wanted a dog. And my mom owned a company in Decatur, Georgia, and she was the president of the company. And she hired a gentleman who was a CPA to work with her in her company as the CPA and operations manager and such. And it was E.C. Ringgold. And he lived around the corner, like a couple of blocks from the office that she owned.
Yeah.
And so she hired him to take care of all the books and to do special, like things that had to be done, like go to the bank for business and take care of deposits and do errands for the clientele that needed to get done. And so I didn't know he had Amstaffs, but I saw a picture of an Amstaff on his desk, and that was Gallant Ruff. And he told me about his dog, and I said, "Well, you still have any more dogs?" And he said, "Yes, I've got a few." And so he took me up to his home, and I that's where I first saw Gallant Kimbo. Magnificent dog, standard, beautiful, 60 pounds, 18 inches tall. But he looked bigger and more powerful, but he wasn't. But he was a big dog in a small package. But it was very, very, very hard muscle, very active, very, very aware of everything around.
Scary.
Very hot. He was a hot dog. After that, I wanted one, and Mr. Ringo worked it out with Peggy Harper of Harwin Kennels. It was in San Antonio.
In Texas.
she owed him a favor, and so he got a puppy from her and gave it to me for $1. and that was Champion Ruffian Don's Rebel of Harwin, and that started everything with me with the breed. He he was a very special dog, and I would go back. I would go to my mom's office and take care of some business and do things and help them around because they were really busy. And I would just go up and see Kimbo myself. Mr. Ringgold gave me the key to get in, and so I did. And I would spend time with Kimbo, but he was a very, very business-like dog, and it was very hot. Matter of fact, I had to use a breaking stick to get to separate him from his mom. She got near his dog bowl, and she like ripped his lip and
ripped his face off.
He had to go get some. She had to go get some stitches. But they loved each other, but they were just staffs.
And they didn't socialize back then.
No
they
socialization.
Didn't care. It was so different today. You go out and you have these dogs, and we have BSL, and it's every time people here see them, they're like, oh, horrible dog. And if the dog is just sitting there not doing anything, and a whole other breed starts barking, the pit bull or the Amstaff is always going to be at fault here. But they didn't socialize back then. They didn't have to.
Let me explain one thing before I go any further.
Yeah.
Back then in the 60s, nobody knew what a pit bull was. Nobody ever knew what a pit bull was. They didn't know what an Amstaff, our staff, was. Whenever I showed people pictures of the dog, they said, "What's that? I've never seen one like that." No. Back then, there was no cable news.
No.
Now everything goes around the world in a second. Back then, we had three local networks: ABC, NBC, and CBS, and it was no instant communication. So people didn't know what the breed was. Nobody knew what they were. It was a small circle of people in the breed, fanciers, because they didn't know what they were. So it's a different world I was in back then. It was a different time to own staffs. My dog never got out or never really got into a fight because I had an acre fenced backyard with a 6-foot fence. Yeah. And so he would try to bust the gate down whenever the garbage men came, but that's but he never got out. Oh well, no, he did get out once. We won't go into that.
You can't.
There was a German Shepherd across the street from us that every time I would go to the mailbox would be barking and growling at me, and he did that for a couple of years. And one day, my dad went out and was opening the gate to let the lawnmower out, and he took off right straight for that dog. He saw him and went straight for him, and the dog ran into the woods, and I chased him and broke it up. But the German Shepherd died. Rebel wasn't scratched, but it was just that's just a different day. The guy goes, "Oh, he's been barking at you for years. I expected something."
People today are so different today. I make sure, even if he's in the yard, I always look because, for me, this breed, the American Staffs, we'll get into this, I know, but they came from pit bulls, we know. But the ruffian bloodline, I love more than anything because of the brain. They're so intelligent. I mean, they think before they act, and I like that, and so the dog that is barking next door, our dog doesn't do anything. He just looks at him. But if I walk him around to where he can see, it's a different story. They think about everything they do. They do.
Well, back then, like I said, I was driving. I was a teenager, but I was about to go to college and get my own place, my own home, and so forth. So I, you know, back then, Mr. Ringgold knew everybody in the AKC, and I didn't know anyone. So he acted as my agent for my dog, and so the money came out of my account to show Rebel, but he acted as the agent. I was not 21 years old, so he acted as my agent for the shows.
Yeah.
But we were very surprised at how well he performed in the shows.
Yeah.
And the judge, one of the judges said that he had such personality, and he just like pranced around the ring, and he would like almost smile at the judge. He said you could tell that dog had a lot of attention and a lot of love, where the others may have just been in a run or something. So
they just stand there, and
So he always won.
Yeah.
He had that unexplained factor. He had that personality, charisma in the ring.
And during that time, the dogs wasn't inside in the houses as pets typically, or no.
No, he stayed outside even in the snow. He had a dog house that was off the ground. It was made out of wood and metal on the outside, and a metal roof sloping, and it had straw in it, and it had a door with a like a flap door. A flap door, that cloth, that stuff the sack they make sacks out of. And he and Gallant Golden Girl, which was my bitch, would go in there and crawl up and get just sleep next to each other, and they were warm as you could get.
Now they're spoiled and they live in the house.
Yeah.
Floor heating and everything.
It's so different.
And and speaking of her, she when I decided to finish her, Michelle Billings, my handler, wanted to take her to the Texas circuit, which was a lot of shows, and she could finish there. And kind of a funny little sidebar thing. I was talking to Richard Gray one time, and he goes, I remember your bitch, Gallant Golden Girl. That was a Kimbo daughter. And he said she won every show, Best of Opposite Sex, in Texas on the circuit, won every one and championed. And he said that Peggy Harper was so mad that she came over to Richard Gray and said, "Don't you have any dog that can beat that bitch?" And he goes, "Don't you?"
She was mean. Peggy Harper was mean. She was mean.
But she was with Rebel. They were pack members, and she was from Kimbo, Gallant Kimbo daughter.
Yeah.
And she was 15 inches tall and like 45 pounds and perfect. She was standard for the female. But today the females would just look like males, big males compared to her. Back then it was standard. You have to understand these old guys, these breeders back then, they bred for the standard, and they bred for the temperament, which is smart, fearless. However, fearless but hot.
In
other words, we will assess the situation, but if there's any sign of danger, I will come for you. That's what the dogs were like. One time, Michelle Billings, my handler, told me a Rebel story. He was about ready to go in a ring, and a dog growled at her and him and lunged, and the handler held him back, and Rebel was ready to tear him to shreds. And it was right when it was his time for him to go in the ring, and she distracted him and got him into the ring. She said he stopped instantly and performed seamlessly around the ring and won Best of Breed. And the second they stepped out of the ring, he looked for the dog.
Where are you at?
Intelligent. Very much.
It's that display. Is that display we don't have today? That display, like you are just talking now, we don't have today. The dog must know the display, see the moment when she have to be a pet, and see the moment she have to defend his own and their own people.
Yeah.
And today we don't have
That's
that.
discernment.
Yes.
That they should be like that. They should have the discernment.
That's intelligence.
Yeah.
That anybody can come into this house. We've had people come in, they don't care. But if there is one wrong person, they know who that is, and that's discernment. And there's a lot of people in the breed who if you ask them this question, you're going to have a different answer. Should they be a protection dog? Yes. Should you have the people that say, well, they should always, be very nice with people. And then you have the other people who say, no, I want them to guard my house. And that's where the discernment comes in. I say they should be guard dogs because they want to be. They're discerning. If someone comes in and they're going to do wrong, they're going to be on it.
Yeah, Michelle Billings told me, who was my handler. She told me she was Rebel's exclusive handler for his show career. Yeah. She was the first female all-breed judge in the AKC. And but when she was a handler with Rebel, she used to drive a van full of dogs to a show that she was going to handle. Oh. But she would take Rebel out and put him in her room, and he would sleep in the room with her because nobody would bother her with him there. Oh. So he was the one dog that slept in the room with her. Yeah. Yeah.
Special dog. Dog. Yeah.
He saw her and me as his pack leaders.
Yeah.
They know. They know.
Yeah, and that as Filipe said, that intelligence is not really there anymore. As I told you before, I had 3 dogs, and the first one, she was a little bit evil, but she was smart.
Right.
The one that I used, that our listeners mostly know, his name was Flash, but he was very kind, but he was a stupid dog. He's no smarts at all, clumsy. Yeah. But he was a sweet dog, but the brains wasn't there.
So, well, if you look, I posted. I have some old albums, photo albums of pictures that I took of the STCA banquets back in the '60s and late '60s and or 1970. I believe this one is in the one I have. The big one is 1970. A bunch of black and white photos. I posted a lot of the pictures. People looked at the board of the STCA and said, "Oh, that's just a bunch of men." We're glad we broke that up. But those guys were, like, they wore suits and smoking cigars and stuff.
Different.
They're the guys that steered the direction of the breed back then, and it was more toward function and standard. Yeah. And if you wanted to, and everybody knew that if you wanted to get great conformation, breed into Gallant, because Mr. Ringo had perfected the balance of these dogs to where he had a good eye. Consistent. He would see a dog. There was a dog, Night Crusader's sire. He was visiting with Stinson, Mr. Stinson, Ike Stinson, and he said, "You need to breed my Gallant bitch that you own to this dog in California, and you're going to have a very balanced dog or puppies." And he thought about it, and he wound up doing it, what Mr. Ringoli suggested, and that was the litter of Night Crusader and his brothers, and it was the best litter that Stinson ever had. So people who bred into Gallant knew that he had the eye for balance. Kimbo was an extremely balanced dog, and he was a son of Night Crusader. He was the pick of the litter that he gave to Ringo.
But they were hot dogs. Yeah. They were hot. They were very, very hot, meaning, back then human aggression was looked at differently. Dog aggression was looked at differently, and they were hot. So they loved their families. They were fine. They showed, but they were completely, people today, I don't think could.
Well, the reason for
some people couldn't handle that.
The reason, I would say not every excuse, but the main reason that the dogs were hot back then is they were not socialized. Yeah. Ringgold had this dream of taking this breed and putting them in backyards all over the country. But they were not socialized. Mine was probably more socialized than all of them combined because I spent so much time training him, working with him. But they just weren't. And so these unsocialized dogs didn't know how to react in public situations that well. So with experience, they can discern their situation and act differently.
Yeah.
And it's not acting out of fear. That's not even a part of it. They did not have fear. It was just not knowing what to do.
It was stress.
But today, you know, they've bred the dog, you know, over the years, the breed over the years. You know, you get like a pyramid like this, and now you're down here where I was up here at the top, and there was a few breeders and just a few breeding dogs. Down here now, there's so many, and the people that are in the staff world today go for winners in the shows, regardless if they're standard or not, but they go for the winners mainly. I'm talking about not in every case, but I'm talking about the majority. So you're getting a dog that wins ribbons being bred. And that dog, like I said, if you put Gallant Kimbo in the ring today, they'd probably laugh at him because he's standard.
Oh, wow, really?
And he's functional. And today, dogs they've been bred to be less functional on purpose, I believe, because number one, people know what an Amstaff is and what a pit bull is today, where they didn't before.
Yeah.
There's more pressure today than there was before because of not knowing what the breed was. There was no publicity. The dogs were not in the paper. You never heard the word pit bull.
No BSL.
No BSL. It didn't exist. So today, people are breeding away from any type of liabilities. They want it. Over the course of this gigantic bit of breeding that's been done over the last 60 years, the dogs have the judges have picked bigger dogs, heavier dogs, less functional dogs. And it's become a pattern. And to go back to the standard and seeing standard dogs today, it would be really different.
It would be.
And
I love shows. I love dog shows. Don't get me wrong. I do. I think it is wonderful. I love just dogs, but functionality is gone. There's no functionality anymore. And that's because, well, you know, I what I really feel is these dogs are the only breed of dog that doesn't perform their original function. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't. Back before they became American Staffordshire Terriers, they were pit bulls, and they were bred to fight. And the further we get away from that is going to be more detrimental to the breed in the future because we're ignoring it. It's just because we don't like it.
Well, you have to understand, all these old breeders that I knew, most of them roll their dogs.
Yeah.
Some of them fought them. I can tell you, top breeders that
Ormsby.
I mean, like Ormsby, one of his dogs won
Velvet Buck.
No, one of his dogs won Westminster.
That was Velvet Buck.
I don't think so. I think it was another.
Yes,
He won to Westminster. The next night, Theo Rayburn had him up in a pit bull fight, and he beat the pit bull.
Yeah.
They said, well, he's a show dog. You can't fight him, and he proved that that's not the case.
Yeah.
But they were functional. But you know, it was a different time, a different era.
It was I mean,
it was not.
Imagine
you know, that was not looked at as horrible.
Yes.
As it is today, because of BSL and all that, and all the many decades of BSL. There was none. So people didn't didn't have much of an opinion of it.
And face it, if two dogs get in a fight, you know, other breeds, it's different. When these guys get into it, like that's it. My first pit bull, the one that I was saying about, like I've never had a pit bull before. She was very, very sweet, but she was absolutely, you couldn't have her around anything. She couldn't be around dogs. She couldn't be around cat, like just very, very, very animal aggressive, prey driven, crazy. That was Lightning. Mm-hmm. And she was, you know, she was a wonderful girl, but you could never take your eyes off that dog. You couldn't, just too hot. Like, and I don't even know if I would want that today because of the fact, you know, that's just too much. I mean, every little thing that moved, she was I couldn't trust her around dogs, and another female, forget it. So very different, but that was my first experience with the breed. But she didn't have the brains. She would just bite first thing, you know?
Yeah.
But,
well, you know, somebody asked me, how would you get the breed back to the way it was? Yeah. And I said, well, the only thing I can think of is get some old semen from like either Gallant or something else like back then.
Oh, I wish. And
breed into it to get the correctness into the DNA back into it, and then start with that. But the breeding has gone so far away from the 60s breedings that you know, I'm glad they do have the ability to do that. I know that some people have been breeding some Pasco dogs that way.
Yeah.
But most people can't handle them.
Sir, you have talked about balance before, and I talk about soundness now. It's the two things together that makes the breed. They must be balanced in body and sound in mind. They have to make everything any other breed made it. Be smart to make it. But don't be like today. We pass from that extreme of your times, from fight dogs and all that history on the back, to pet dogs. And they are the opposite. That times and today times, they are completely the opposite. Today we have some bloodlines, some line breedings that are still more or less the same. It's a little percentage. But we can, like Cato, for example, he's on the weight pool world. We can test them in sports, in hunting. Each day I test my dogs with people outside, with other dogs, with hunting, with sports, with all kind of things we can make it today. But not only fix on shows. That is what the majority of the people is making today. And in the end, the dogs are cold. The dogs have no life. It's kind of pet just to have at home, nothing more.
Right.
They don't match.
Yeah.
They don't work. They don't have that game. They don't have that life, that gameness to do whatever we want them to do.
And why? And my question is why? What happened to that? Because every single terrier, if you read the Kerry Blue, every terrier, everyone, it says they're all game. They're plucky. Game. The Irish Terrier, the last show I was at, the Kerry Blue Terriers, they scared me. I mean, they're a lot. And I go, oh my God, you know? And, but yeah, the gameness, why does the Staff Terrier not say gameness?
Years of breeding away from it. Breeding cold dogs to cold dogs, cold temperaments to cold temperaments, and breeding away from hotness.
But because of PSL.
Yeah, but do you think that it is to differentiate the breed from the pit bull as much as possible to be more politically correct? Is that the reason why?
Yes,
right.
Yes. And I think the fault is also in the show people in the FC, because like Rozlynn was saying, if it is a fox terrier in the ring or other terriers, they are there all crazy, barking each other and everything, and there are no problems. In the ring of arm stuff, if the arm stuff bark to the other or lift the tail or something, the judge put him out. And that is not normal. That is not normal. They are fight dogs. They are terriers. They must have to act. They must have to be alive to the surroundings. And that is not normal. And I put the fault in FC people in show people, because they are breeding the opposite. You see sad dogs, puppies with 4 or 5 years that stacks, and they look like statues, no tail shaking, nothing. And it's sad, really sad to see that.
Well, it's like a
It is
handler.
very-
A handler today, I mean, a couple of years ago, told me, that, this is a handler that shows in this day and age. Told me, he says, "Well, do you want a dog with a great pedigree, or you want a dog that'll win best of breed or best in show?"
Yeah.
And he says you can't have both.
No.
But you did have both.
I did have both.
Back in the day, it was both, and it's like you had the dog that he won in the ring, but it was because he adhered to the breed standard. It's like the Bible of the dog, the breed standard, and it says, okay, this, everything, check. And then,
Well, and it's breeding.
that stopped.
It's breeding standard and balanced dogs to standard balanced dogs. It's like Theo Rayburn, Sertoma kennels.
Sertoma.
Yeah, Theo, he didn't do much in the ring until he crossed over and bred with Gallant. Then his dogs started having a lot more balance and like Chief, and he started winning.
Sertoma's Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sertoma, yes. Now they, I cannot think of the name, but Sertoma's Genesis. Sertoma Genesis was now she or I can't even remember his boy girl, but beautiful dog, very, very beautiful, had a nice head, lovely, loved it, and it had the temperament. I know it had temperament, but the Sertoma dogs had more human aggression.
Yeah.
So they kind of backed away from that.
Yeah. He bred in with Gallant, and he started winning shows. But he had a dog named Mary Frances that he loved, a white dog, but she was terribly cowhawked. I couldn't win a show. But she was very aggressive. She was very aggressive. Yeah. So he got away from what he was breeding into and got into more of the show quality. But the show quality was also standard.
Yeah.
And they also had good temperaments, but they were hot.
Yeah.
And today, sir, what do you choose? You prefer a show dog, a great show dog, or you prefer the stuff that follow what you know?
That.
Well, I used to have both.
If you have to choose.
Yeah. Well, I used to have both. That's what's so annoying to me is that I used to have both. Now you have to choose. I would rather have a dog like Bull that came from that breeding than to have I would not have a just a plain pudgy show dog. There's no way.
Bulls. Oh, we could talk about him.
I would love to see it go back to the way it was, but I know there's a lot of people in the breed now that couldn't handle them. I know that when Dick Pascoe died, they gave some of his dogs away, and people gave them back that couldn't handle them. They're used to these pudgy show dogs.
Yeah. They go around the ring 3 times. They're tired. That's it.
Those smaller Amstaffs that are still like yesterday's Amstaffs, we drag them all over the yard. They couldn't keep up with them. These, the people and the dogs today, the handlers and the dogs today are just not in shape for it.
Yeah. And they want to breed the terrier out of them. I forgot who said it. I don't even, but breed the terrier out. That means you'll have less of, you'll have more problems because they're terriers to begin with. And I just thought of this. I think that's probably why back in the 60s, they had the look of, they weren't huge because they were closer to the Staffordshire Bull Terrier. It was Staffordshire Bull Terrier, and then we have the Pit Bulls, and then the Pit Bulls became American Staffordshire Terriers. I'm sorry, it was first Staffordshire Terrier only in 1936. But because of the confusion with the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, they said, well, okay, now we're going to put American Staffordshire Terrier. It is the most misunderstood breed in the world. It really is, because people go, well, is it a pit bull or an Amstaff?
Well, and you get this dichotomy because you've got like the pit bull people, and then you've got the Staffordshire Terrier people back in the 60s. And, Pete Sparks saw Stenson's dog, and Stenson's dog was 65 pounds, 19 inches tall. And he said he looked like a fat teddy bear. Yeah. And that riled Stenson up, and they wouldn't talk to each other after that. But Pete Sparks's dogs were like 45 pounds fighting weight. Yeah. And the Amstaffs were, show quality, they were 60, 65 pounds.
But
so you got this dichotomy of pit bull and Amstaff all the way through. Yeah. And that's confusing as well. And then changing the names and such.
And the names, and Pete Sparks actually in an article had a Staffordshire Bull Terrier and the American Pit Bull Terrier, UKC, and American Staffordshire Terrier, AKC, all standing together, and you could not tell them apart.
You said, I dare you to tell them apart.
Yeah. There was no difference. And
when was this? In which year was that?
But it was in the 70s. In the 70s. It was a letter he wrote. It was a letter he wrote to. I never knew who was that Mr. Stone. It was a letter. It's a famous letter. I can send you after, Kato.
Yeah. I know the letter.
3 pages letter where he's explaining to that person what he have in the garden, and defy everybody to goes there and say which one is which one from the which breed. You have the 3 breeds, and I defy everybody to come here and tell which one is which one.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because they were all from the same. But now you look at a pit bull, you have the UKC pit bull, and then you have the American Staff, AKC, American. Even I get confused, the American Staffordshire. And then, but when you look at them both, you can tell the difference, and it's like, well, and we, he was in it, and he got me my first real Amstaff from Al Binkerski and Sonia 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And that was my first real AKC Amstaff.
Esoteric, is it the kind of name?
Yes. Yeah. And I had Ruff, and he was so smart. Because again, I'm not a trainer, but I can train. And it was just like 5 months old, that dog got his first AKC obedience title.
Yeah.
And that was just where I was like, whoa, the mind, it was so busy all the time. And now Bull here, he's Kanina Clan dogs, he's just, we call him Mr. Lithium, because you could do 8 to 10 miles with that dog. And we live out where I run him. We come home, we do obedience, and then we do treadmill time. And then that has to happen. If we don't do that, forget it. But again, he has the mind, and it's amazing. And I love the mind. They're so smart. There's no other breed. And I looked at other breeds, because when I lost him, a broken heart, and I looked at other breeds, and I just said, there is there's no other, like a staff, a real one.
Yeah.
Once an Amstaff, always an Amstaff.
And that's what you told me those years ago. And you are correct.
My dad said that anything that got in the backyard didn't live, because of Rebel and Gallant Golden Girl. And one time he said he was going to work, and Rebel was barking at something, and he went over to the fence and looked, and it was a big turtle in a shell, and he had like closed up, and he said, well, he'll forget about it and that kind of thing, and he'll get away. Well, he got back off work and came home, and there was nothing but a shell there.
Tortuga
and a lot of dogs today, wouldn't be like that. They would just play with it.
What's that? Yeah.
It's a pity that the breed has changed so much. Even though I know that the standard hasn't changed from the AKC standard hasn't changed from 1936, I think.
Yeah.
I know that here in Sweden, it's been unfortunately a bit a couple of years they had done some, not the changes to the standard, but the interpretation of the standard, and they actually so but they went back. I was in the breed club, and then they started to change the interpretation of the standard back to more or less the old times. Yeah, less
What
than
did
more, but at
what did
least
they
in the right direction. Yeah.
What did they change?
Especially how the size should be. I think, that to have a little bit more moderate size of the dogs, and that size actually it's more important than it was shown at the time, because at that time the size of the dogs was really my stupid dog that I talked about. He was, I think he was, maybe 20 inches and 65, 70 pounds, something like that.
That's
Yeah, but he was one of his latest shows. He was the smallest dog, the smallest male dog in the show.
so
And
why? Oh,
yeah, but that has changed here in Sweden now. The dogs are at least more or less back down in sizes.
Good.
But there was a couple of really knowledge. Oh, yeah, girls that at least had a lot of knowledge about the breed here in Sweden that took it on and tried to get the interpretation changed. And I think they actually took something from the AKC and tried to implement it here in Sweden, and they didn't get everything through, but they got a lot through. So the size of the dogs, at least as what I have seen, has gone down, because we could have let's see, like
the
80
size.
pounds dogs on the shows, males, even females up to
Big.
70, 75 pounds.
Oh, it's like a bull mastiff. Like it.
Yeah.
These last years, the breed is coming back, because the dogs until 2010, mainly the first decade of 2000s, because of a famous show dog from foreigner countries. I don't want to mention for don't cause stress. But he put the standards and the interpretation of the standard. Many people start following that dog and try to interpret the standard following that parameters. And with the time, people see by themselves, because the time always gives the results and always give the truth, bring the truth. And people since maybe 2010, it was in 2010, I think, when Nytt on Standard Beach won this world winner. It was Chiquita, the name at the time.
Chiquita, it was Chiquita, yes.
And since there, the breed more and more each year is coming back. There are a lot of fights, not fight, but there are still a lot of people wanted to keep that bully dogs, that substance dogs, like they say. It's the words they say. It is the dog must have substance. The chest must have be outside, and big heads like a bull. And no, it's nothing like that. But many people is coming back and study, and with the internet, there are so much information, and today you don't know more if you don't want it. And after, if you find the good mentors, and that Sir Mount, like I call him, we know since years. I learn a lot with him and the old people. And if you find good mentors, you're going in the good direction. But if you start today, we see judges. They are in the breed since 5 years, and they are already judges. How can you judge an Amstaff or other breed if you are in the breed since 5 years? You don't have a background, you don't have experience, you don't have nothing, examples on your past to be a judge today. And it's that part is sad, but like you said, in Sweden, I see very nice dogs, because I'm married with a Swedish woman. I be there 1 year. We just changed to Switzerland. And I see really nice dogs there, not in the Amstaff, but overall. I see good Labradors, good In Sweden, more or less, the dogs are still functional.
Yeah,
that is true. That is true.
And I was going to ask that other breeds, when you picture other breeds, and I'm going to use another breed. Let's use Belgian Malinois, for instance. So is it this difficult in other breeds to show a Belgian Malinois as it would be for an Amstaff? You know, or is the standard the standard? This is the Belgian Malinois. It's a herding dog.
But if you look at that, I have a couple of friends that they compete with Malinois and German Shepherds, and they are pretty much two different breeds. So you have the show stock, and then you have the sport dog. That's
okay, so
pretty much they have pretty much divided totally. Yeah, especially if you see the German Shepherd, it's two totally different breeds. When it comes to show and sport. Yeah.
Show,
and they don't even mix them anymore. It's yeah.
And maybe it's the way we have to cook in the stuff also. Unfortunately, maybe it's that already people start saying that you have sport dogs or you have game dogs. No, I have standard dogs. It's you that have show model dogs. And the problem is that we don't want the purist people, the passionate people, we don't want to make that separation. Because it's easy to say I have work lines or you have show lines. No, there are not. Like you said, the standard, it's only one. It's the same since the beginning, 1936, and it's that one we have to keep. And it's easy after to have the interpretation because we have people, elderly people alive, and we're going to make, I hope, more podcasts with other like Sir Thomas. And we're going to learn a lot with them because it's this preservation, this patrimony we have to keep to the future.
Yeah, and I think as Rozlynn said before, the purpose of the dog, we can't test them on that anymore because we all think that the fighting the dogs isn't that's it's a lot of barriers to do that, so to speak. But it and it's illegal in most places anyways. So
absolutely. Can't even talk about it. I'm even scared to talk about it. But at the same time, it's different, you know. Before, and it's like what you told me. What did Ringgold say? What did Ringgold say he wanted to see in the dogs? He wanted them to be standard. He wanted them to be able to do the job that they were bred to do, but he didn't do it. He chose not to do it. Yeah. Because who wants the vet bills all the time? I mean, you know, honestly, even if it was, I mean, but
it's like Ringo said to Sparks in an interview, or wrote in an editorial. Yeah, mailbag. He said, you know, that he loves game dogs, but he said, I choose not to fight mine. He says, you fight yours. I don't have a problem with it, but I choose not to fight mine. Yeah.
But he wanted them game.
Yeah. Oh,
we lost them.
Yeah.
You know how I test my dogs, for example, I put them hunting the wild boar in the middle of a pack of 70, 80 dogs. They are so strong. They are so strong. They made their work. They are the first ones arriving with the Lanus, for example, to grip the dog, the hog. Sorry, but it's like that I test them among sports and among other ways.
Yeah,
we are talking about test the dogs, and I'm saying how I test my dog and how I made with them. I put them hunting the wild boar. I put them in a pack of 60, 70 dogs. They are so strong. They pass all days in the hills, running, hunting. And when the hog is surrounded, they are the first ones going there with the Lanus.
Yeah. Right.
And they wait till we arrive to kill the wild boar. And among the sports, among all the tests, social tests, day by day and everything, is the way I find to test and see if they have the temperament, and give him all the tests and all the defies I arrive to give it in modern days, of course.
I love it. I love it. You have to, and you can do other things. And I love sports, dog sports. Weight pull is wonderful. It just, I love it all, you know. But back to size, you know, the size of the breed, you know, in the 60s and you know, even before then, the size, there was a few big ones in the breed. There's always going to be fluctuations between size, and some were 100 pounds, and some gallant dogs like JB Gallant, Johnny Rebel, Gallant's Johnny Rebel. He was an 80-pound dog.
It was Johnny Reb.
Yeah. Big dog. But the variations in size and type is always going to be there. I mean, you know, you're always going to have big dogs, standard dogs. But I look at it, I want to see a complete blend of bull and terrier. That's what I want to see. I want to see moderation all the time, moderate. A blend.
It was their name, Rozlynn. It was their first name, Alf Dogs.
It was. They were called the bull. They were called the half and half. They were called the bull and terrier. They didn't. Yeah.
The perfect Alf.
Yeah, no, of course you can have outliers on both sides. Very small ones and very, very big ones, but the majority should be within the span of the size that are stipulated in the standard. And that's, hopefully we get there again. But I have a hard time seeing that the mentality and the brains can get back, because unfortunately my view of it is that it's too few dogs that has it. It's really hard to breed it back.
Do you have temperament testing in Sweden?
No. Yeah, we have. We have. I think actually we have one type of temperament test, but it's for
two types.
Two types. Yeah, but for the Amstaff, it's pretty much one that they are doing, and what I've heard, it's too easy because it's not. Yeah, it doesn't test the true temperament of a fighting breed.
No, and the majority, it's not. It's like
the majority don't pass those two that you have it. The majority block somewhere, somehow in the middle. Yeah. They block.
Yeah, and one of the tests are for police dogs and military dogs. It's designed for those, and that has nothing to do with the mentality of a fighting dog.
No, absolutely.
It's the MH. It's the MH that when you are talking about, and after there are another one, because my wife is here near to me.
BPH. It's called. Right. Yeah, it's a type of mentality test for all breeds pretty much, and it's good. It's good because
it's the socialize test.
Yeah, and especially to get rid of the scare dogs. That's what's scary. I'm scared of dogs that are not brave. Any breed doesn't matter.
That is more afraid for me than anything, because that's when you get all the stupid, the nervous stuff, and that's the problem.
That's when you get them biting people.
Yeah,
nervous biting. You're walking and you're
biting,
and you can see if you're walking your dog and they're looking around like this, they're not comfortable with the situation, and you know you want to take your dog in situations and they're relaxed. They're like, okay, let's go, you know, not afraid of anything but ready for anything. That's
the time only the time always moving and always shaking. That is the first sign I see in a dog in our breed, is when the tail is moving quickly in big rotation. That gives direct the first impression in the temperament of the dog.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I had one judge once said they should be full of life, and I really like that expression, because in my mind at least, all the former fighting dogs, both American Staffordshire Terriers and Staffordshire Bull Terriers, they should be full of life, exuberating of happiness pretty much.
They call it
oh no, we lost them again. Yeah, so let's hope that they get back. But we actually, Filipe, we didn't get an introduction who you are. Yeah, we didn't have the time. Thomas just went off. Yeah, so could you just a quick introduction of who you are?
Yeah, I'm a little Portuguese guy. I'm 50 years old, and I'm in the breed since 34 years. Not in the breed breeding and inside the breed, But I see my first dog, I have 16 years old, in my neighborhood. I came from Lisbon, and there was a cousin of a friend in the neighborhood that was in America, and one of the summers that he came, he bring an Amstaff. And I see that Amstaff, and it was, I never see that it existed not in Portugal at the time, or almost not, and even less in Europe. There were really a few only. And I start studying and studying, and I start calling
Reading,
people at the time, still by phone disc, to put questions and to have mentoring, and buying all kind of literature that I arrived, and people send me letters from America and so on. And I keep on going studying until I said, no, I'm going to try. I have my first Amstaff only in 2006. Granddaughter of Dallas. After I took another one from old similar bloodlines, and I took one from shows, typical lines from shows. And again, I made all the tests in the tree, because it's what I called at the time. I have one old school, the granddaughter of Dallas, the Betty. I have the commercial line at the time, it was the similar, and I have a show line. And I want to see by myself, because one defends this, the other defends that, one likes this, one likes that. And I made all the tests. And I can tell you, the Betty, the Dallas granddaughter, the old school, we made 8 kilometers, me in the bike, and she arrived 2 minutes after me. The senior arrived 5 minutes, and the show line arrived 10, 15 minutes after. And Betty was ready, drink a little bit of water and shaking tail, and ready to more 8 kilometers. Similar, almost the same thing. And the show line, she arrived dead only after breathing a little bit, take the lungs in condition. She was drinking water. And that's when I said, no, it's this I want. It's the old bloodlines, the old. And I start studying. Later in 2014, I made my first breeding, advised by the Richard Gray, among others. At the time, I took a bitch, a ginger, the grandmother of a bull that Thomas and Rozlynn have now at home. That also preferred to sleep in the snow. Between home and snow, she preferred to be in the snow. She don't wanted to come inside. For her, it was the box outside in the snow. And I made that first breeding. It was not. It was already something really old, really further in the bloods and in the history and everything. But it was not what I wanted, so I didn't following. So I made the second breeding, and it's that. Today I have 3 generations. I don't have kennel name. I'm a purist guy. I'm a passionate guy. I made this each time I register in name of friends and partners that I have. Soon I hope I have my own kennel name, because now I have already what I want, and then the foundation to start making something and preserve. And I have 4 liters made in 34 years. I have 4 liters and 3 generations. And it's like that. I'm in the breeding, always studying, always having mentoring with the elderly people, and the studying. 25 years until made the first breeding.
That's dedication.
That's how it should be, because anybody can put 2 dogs together and breed them. I mean, my goodness. But I mean, but to want to study and to want to study the breed, and that's where the love comes in, and that's where the passion comes in. And preserving is very important to us too. You know, little bull here. I'll breed him maybe, but it's got to be the right one. And we do all the health testing, and another test I want to do with him is the endurance test. We have an endurance test. And it's by bike. And I mean, I know he'll go 10 miles on a bike, no problem. I don't have to pedal. I just sit there. And he goes.
He just goes.
He just goes, but he's smart. He goes, and he has to have that in out of him, you know. And I like that. That's what I want to see. And that's what we were saying. Lively. Here we call it plucky and game. Like you're happy, you're confident, you know who you are, you know. I love to see that. I love it. And
Yesterday, yesterday I talked with Marco, the Cruise. You made a podcast with him.
Yeah.
1 weeks ago, a really nice podcast because it's a really knowledge guy. I talked with him and he have a lot of knowledge. And they have a competition in Europe. Now it's in April in Holland, the stuff for the Olympics. And I was seeing the results on their apps. And I see my dogs. I try one time the 100 meters, and the male made less than 8 seconds.
Yeah.
So if I go to the Olympics, I want the under, at least the 100 meters. I want it.
Yeah. They have a it's a very interesting sport. They really try to check all the boxes.
I love it.
Especially for the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, but there are some pit bulls and some Amstaffs as well.
The Staffordshire Bull Terriers, they said the sport Staffordshire Bull Terriers. They're little. They're a lot of dog. You gotta make sure you.
Yeah, it's a lot of dog in a small package. Yeah.
Like you go. Do I have all my arms?
Yeah.
We start in Portugal that kind of sports around maybe 2008, 2007, and at the time the name we give to that, it was gameness sport, because if you see all the disciplines, if the dog have to have gameness to climb a wall with 4.5 meters, to jump 10 meters long jump, and to do all that, the gameness must to be there, otherwise you don't going to do it.
And gameness, all gameness is the will to do something, know you might die, and still not be afraid. That is the definition of gameness. We went hiking, and Bull saw a deer climb up we live in the mountains, and it's just like straight up a mountain, and a deer went up, and he just went up to climb it. And I was like, oh no. I have a special collar for him that has a GPS just in case I can't find him, so I could get on my phone and track him. Yeah. But he got to the top of the deer ran off, and he turned around and looked at me and was like, you know what? I want to come back. Because he understood he can't do it, but he tried it. The gameness was there to try it, but he had the mind to understand, no, this might not be a good idea. Yeah. And I got him back. Now, nice. Ruff, my last male, the esoteric. Yeah. He would have went 100. He would have. Yeah, he just jumped off. It was harder. Yeah. He had a little more of a harder temperament. He was very smart, just like how they all are. But once he had something in his mind, oh no, that's it. Yeah.
Well, Bull is I think he's a little smarter, because Bull he thinks, he reasons things out before doing things. He looks
at you like he's thinking. I'm like, stop thinking. No.
And he makes the right choice. He thinks about it first and makes the right choice.
He's just like Charlie. Oh, he's just like his brother Charlie.
The day by day with them, sometimes they look like I'm father. I have 4 kids. They are adults already. And sometimes they have reactions that I say, but they are rational. They remember my kids when they have 2-3 years old. They think, because it's the first time I see this on these kind of dogs. I never see this intelligence, this kind of like you say, sir. They reason the things. They don't make nothing without a purpose. They defy you all the time to try your limits.
Yeah, they do. They know it. They know what you want. They're just the intelligence. That's the ruffian. That's the ruffian. The Tacomas, they have the same ability, but the Tacomas are a little more straight. They want what they want. That's it. But the ruffian, the gallant. What was gallant like? Like really gallant. What was it like? Was it like the ruffians? Were they smart? Were they?
Yeah, they were smart, but they were smart. They were, hot-tempered, but they were smart. The gallant bitch that I had, she was very intelligent. And the male I had, Rebel, he was half part. He was part gallant, part Harwin.
Yeah.
But like she would, he would pick on her when she was a baby, and we first brought her to the backyard. He would pick on her, and she would just like growl, like that rumbling growl in it, and just go after him with teeth. And she was like 8 weeks old, and he was much bigger than her, but she just lied into him, and he'd just keep doing it, and she would keep doing that, and then they came to an agreement that they'll just be together. But it's like he gave everything he gave, she gave back.
Yeah.
But it was because of her intelligence. She knew that he would stop and let her respond. It was a thing where she said, "I'm not really in danger. He's actually playing with me."
Yeah.
Rough. So they never got into a fight that led to harming each other at all. But these dogs,
they test each other, they will.
But they're very intelligent dogs, and they recognize what is danger and what's not danger. They can define the difference or discern the difference, and that's what makes all the difference. That's what makes them able to fit into society well. If you train them and socialize them, it's an extra boost in their favor, but they've got the intelligence.
There
are a question, for example, in America or in Sweden, the rule is to send the puppies with 8 weeks old to the new owners. And I don't agree with that. By my experience, for what I see, my brother breeds boxers some years ago, and he made some litters. And for my experience and for what I see, those 4 weeks between 8 and 12, they are really important for that socialization and to give all that experience of fights and hierarchy between brothers, the first little slaps in the ass of mama and all that. And people say to me, "No, but I want the litters, the 3 I made." I have some owners that said, "No, but you send it to me at 8 weeks. I want it." No, I don't send that at 8 weeks, because I want you to have a dog 100% stable, and I won't be sure they don't going to have problems, because it's my name, it's the breed that going to pay after. It's not you. It's the breeder that makes a bad job. It's the breed that is aggressive breed, and that is a thing that I see in Sweden. I learned in Sweden, and I see in America also. 8 weeks is too soon for these dogs. Maybe for show dogs, maybe for modern dogs, but for this kind of lines, for this kind of old bloodlines, it's too soon. 8 weeks old, really too soon.
They need those extra weeks to learn from their mother and their baby and their siblings. That is very important, because the mama will teach them things. They bite them and they fight them and they say, "Oh," and then when you get them, it used to be 8 weeks, like get an 8-week-old puppy. But I feel it should be a little more, because they need to learn extra hard, because they need more of those weeks with the mom. Very much so.
It's the difference in
they teach them stuff.
The difference in Rough and Bull is we got Rough at 8 weeks, and we got Bull later, and Bull is very similar in pedigree.
Yeah.
Oh no, I lost him again. Yeah. I think actually I will ask them when they get back, because I think it was Rough that I saw. Yeah, it could be 10 years ago. I thought it was the same dog, but they are very similar. Rough.
Yeah, it's Rough. Yeah, it's Rough. They have the same line from mother. From mother side, they have the same bloodline, the same line breeding.
Yes,
we are talking about Bull, and you were talking about Bull and Rough, and Katu remembers Rough. So say what you were saying, sir.
Yes, Rough would just act more than Bull, who reasons more. Bull will stand and reason more before acting, where Rough would respond faster. Bull wants to figure it out, and I think that has something to do with being with the litter and with the mom longer, which is very important. I think being able to reason things out and thinking things through before acting, that's very, very, very vital in today's.
And it's the same line. It's the same bloodline. I mean, Ruff was, it's the same basically, but they were both very intelligent dogs. Yeah. I mean, it's the same genetics.
Line breeding. It's the same line breeding. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
but
the
same.
Same.
I think you've got something there.
They're starting.
How long should they stay with the mother then? And their
12 weeks.
12 weeks. 15 weeks now is probably about the right time because they learn things. The mother teaches them everything. I mean, it's so important for them to learn, like, know what to bite and not what to bite, and the puppies, the siblings, they teach each other and they figure all those little videos of them, they're figuring things out, and they need that extra few weeks,
These dogs are very harsh, Kato. I lost in the first litter the mother. It was inexperienced. And it was my son-in-law that bred the litter, and he didn't follow all my directions and all the protocol like I call, because I'm not inventing nothing. I'm just following the protocol since 1914, 1920. The things I read from the time I follow the same. Yeah. And they inexperience what he made. We have a kennel fight, litter fight, and we lost one of the puppies at 7 weeks old.
Oh.
7 weeks old, there was a fight, and we lost it. One of the puppies because of that.
And that's
so you see how much important it is on this kind of bloods to have the knowledge and to follow the steps, all the steps correct. And that between 8 weeks and 12 weeks, it's when they start defying mama, put the teeth because they already have teeth, and try to bite, and mama going to growl or going to bite them also and say, hey, don't put the teeth so strong. And it's when you take them outside with people to the street, socialize, leash, other breeds, everything. Those 4 weeks, it's what we call the outside world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you pass the puppy with 8 weeks old, you are passing maybe for experienced people and to train for sports or to German Shepherds to train for guarding or this or that. Maybe it's the perfect age. But if you are selling for pets or for have stable dogs, sound dogs in mind, it's the perfect age. It's 12 weeks old. Yeah. That is the perfect age.
And Thomas, how was it back in the days? Was it 8 weeks even then?
Yeah, yes, that's when I got Rebel. He was 8 weeks old when I got him.
What about ear crop? When was the ears to be cropped?
Oh, well, he got his crop, I think at 13 weeks. 13 weeks.
Okay, that's about
But did they? But not all dogs were cropped ears back then. You still had
everything I saw on the AKC was cropped back then. Everything. Okay. Matter of fact, Theo Rayburn cropped his own dog's ears. He had one of those little
he had
one of those little ear-shaped metal things, and he cropped the ears himself. He'd put them under with anesthesia on a rag, and he'd do it in his mechanic shop, or radiator shop, and one time he was doing a litter, cropping ears and stuff, and he said, I better hurry up, they're waking up. but I have to say this for Theo, he had the best ear crop I've ever seen, better than any vet. His dog's ears were perfection.
Yeah.
What advice you give to someone that asks you mentoring, Thomas? If someone comes to you and say, sir, can you give me mentoring directions? What do you say to them?
In what way? I mean,
in the way mentorship to know the breed, to know which bloods, to know what is the real arm stuff. on that direction, the first steps for someone that asks for mentoring?
Well, I think first of all, before they get an AM staff, they need to know what an AM staff is, what they're about, what they're bred for, what they are capable of doing, what their temperament should be, and how they should handle and work with an AM staff. If they want to show them what to do there, when to do it, when to start it, and what to do. And to number one, socialize them to the point that they understand that they can take them with them somewhere and they blend in. These dogs, I find that if they're well tempered, the main thing they respond to is aggression.
Yeah.
These dogs will respond to aggression. They will not.
Oh no. Yeah, and that's I hopefully they get back soon here as well. But yeah, as Thomas said, they react to aggression. They seldom. My experience is that they seldom start something.
About health issues.
Yeah, now they are back. Yeah.
Yeah, what I was saying was that if they take their dog out of their yard and they're in a stable environment, the dog should be stable with the environment.
Yeah.
But if you don't socialize, then they do not know what to do.
No.
So they're more anxious because of that. Not fearful, but just don't know what to do.
Looking all over.
So I would say socializing today is very important.
And study your bloodlines. Study those bloodlines because they're all different. You know, today especially because people have got a study Tacoma, study Ruffian, study Expert. Yeah. Study those bloodlines because they're all different. They just are. You know, some are more softer than others, and others are not. So and they're terriers. Understand that they are terriers. So if they want to chase stuff and go crazy, that's just the way they are. And I think we need to allow that to show in the breed more because that's what they are. I mean,
today we have another big problem. For example, in Italy, they are not allowing the inbreeding, the line breeding, and there are some countries that are starting with that. And for me, that it's another big problem that's going to come in the next years, because you can't select a dog just by phenotype. Look to the mother and the father and say, they are compatible. They are both same color. They have both the same head. Same dogs can be totally different dogs. And we see, for example, Pasco have the best litter he ever. He have Jet Bomber. It was dark black and a little bit of white, and Hoover on the other side. Almost white and big and nothing to do one with another. So we can't look, people today, they just look for titles and for the phenotype. And what I say to people is study what the father was, what the mother was, the faults and defaults, and the virtues they have it. And also what they've passed, because they can have great teeth, but in the genetics they pass very weak teeth. And the people today, they don't see that. They think it's so easy, or it's lottery or something, genetics that happens easily. And in the end, it's a catastrophe. What we see around comes a mess because people just follow by phenotype, by pictures, by videos, and they don't have any knowledge. Sometimes I ask, but you know what is the grandfather passed? I know he was a good dog, but what he passed? He passed good feet, he passed good top lines, he passed nice mouth. There were lack of teeth. How it was, the tail implantation, they don't know. They are breeding and they don't know. They don't have that information, and that is
they don't care. And I don't know if they don't care, but other things are on their mind. It's not the betterment of the breed. It's it's a me thing. You know, they want to be in the shows. They want the fame. They want fame, I guess is the word. And any breed, any dog breed, that's no good. You can't do that because that's just going to mess it up. You know.
Yeah.
But I have to say, back like the teeth of the breed is kind of they're having issues with teeth. And in the terrier group, the wire hair fox terrier had the biggest teeth I've ever seen. It was just like these big, scary teeth. And the pit bulls, before when they were just pit bulls, their teeth were huge teeth. And whatever is happening and going down, the Amstaffs today are losing their teeth because they don't breed for it anymore. Because of course they don't use their teeth anymore. I think that's what it is with teeth. I don't know.
They don't have to select on to have teeth as a part of the selection. It has no bearing anymore. So I think that's why they don't do it. So, but I was thinking about in the old days, Thomas. We always talk about the old lines, and I have a feeling that nobody of those who started those lines had. Their goal wasn't to start a bloodline. It was more like we want to do good breedings, and then eventually it turned out that it was a really good bloodline. And I get the feeling that there are players out there today that they want to set their legacy, so to speak, to start a bloodline. And am I correct in my feeling about how it was back then? Oh, we lost him again.
Yeah, and before they arrive, I answer you that Ormsby from Expert Kennel, each 3 generations he made an outcross.
Yeah.
So there was not the purest Ruffian. He's not Ruffian only. There are expert.
Yeah.
To answer your question, I think that it's so different today than it was in the 60s. I mean, it's a completely different world with different people. The people in Amstaffs today versus the people in the breed back in the 60s, they probably couldn't be further apart. And I think that there's too much emphasis on trying to make a name for yourself in a breed, and there's not enough emphasis on trying to produce good dogs, trying to produce the best dogs for the standard.
Yeah,
that is what everybody went by back in the 60s. The standard, it was gold, and you never varied from that. Today, a lot of people don't even know what the standard is if you talk to them about it. A lot of people in the breed today
they don't.
that are in the shows just like the look of the dog, and they breed. You get a puppy from it, and they just want to show and breed and make money, but they don't understand the way it used to be, where people were focused on just getting good standard dogs out there with good temperaments. Was the key.
Yeah.
There was no accolades back then. I mean, the trophies that Rebel got, they were not the big fancy with those Amstaffs on it and stuff. We got trophies from a trophy store,
Yeah.
Or it's just, standard stuff, and they engraved it. But it's nothing. It was not for that at all. Matter of fact, I got a picture of Rebel's winnings with all of his stuff that I put in my room and took a picture of back in 1970.
Wow.
And those trophies don't look anything like today. It was for the love of the breed and to produce good standard dogs.
And all breeds. And all breed. It wasn't just everybody.
Yeah.
It was in every breed. Every breed had to.
One thing Ringo used to say, taking good Amstaffs and making them better. What he was saying by that is not only, he was saying, not only do I know the standard and I breed to it, I only breed to standard dogs, but he says, I know the structure and I know the balance of the breed that I want to see. I've got an eye for it, and I'm going to inject that into it and have standard, well conformed dogs.
Yeah.
Conformation. You got the mixture of both. You've got the mixture of show quality versus, most show quality and good standard functional dogs. That was the key. Take the standard functional dog and make it better by means, doesn't increase size, doesn't get it softer, nothing like that. But balancing it to where it looks good and can get the job done.
Yeah.
For its function. He wanted to see that in the backyards of America or the world. He one time Jack Payne, an old dog person in the AKC who's was a friend of mine. He had a dog that won, I think, the 1980-81 national.
Benchmark's Chaka of XL.
Yeah,
was his dog.
Yeah, and he got his dog from Ringo, and he one time brought a man over to get a puppy. He wanted a puppy, and Mr. Ringo talked to him and looked at him, and he said, I'm not going to sell any puppies right now. He changed his mind, and he was walking. The man walked off and went back to the car, and Jack. He looked at Jack Payne and said, "Don't ever bring this man back to me. He's not good enough for my dogs." He said, I only want people that are good enough for my dogs to have my dogs. He did not want the BSL stuff happening. He wanted to prevent it.
Right. And if the breed gets in the wrong hands, which it has, that's when you get the problems.
Well, Ringo said, his biggest fear is that the dogs get into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
And would destroy the breed. So
that's the second difficulty you have. It's what I said. We have two as passionate people and purist people when you breed. It's to select the shit. Yeah. It's to select the lines, the bloodlines, select the blood, and after select the good owners.
Yeah.
Where you're going to send that puppies. Because one goes with another. And why to send a puppy to someone that don't know how to handle or don't have a life for that or
exactly. Yeah, to find the good owners must be really, really hard
and very important.
Very important.
He was very picky about that. He wanted them to have a fenced backyard, and they knew what the breed was. They wanted to protect the breed and to give it a lot of socialization, a lot of to give the dog the image of being a first-class dog that is like no other in good families. That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
He didn't want to see the gangster type stuff that you see now, with the breeds. He tried to avoid that dearly.
And that's here in America. That's very big here with the gangster type dog and the pit bull.
Same here, unfortunately. Yeah.
Same everywhere.
Everywhere.
And I hate it because I see Betty. Is that Betty?
Yeah, it's Betty.
Hi, baby. I love her so much. She is so sweet. But yes, it's the gangster type, and that's the problem. And when we lived in the city, it was worse because in the cities it was just it was awful. It's not good for the breed, and it's not good. It's not good.
No.
But the shows came also a gangster world. The shows today involve so much money, so much interest, so much status, so much everything. Comes a gangster world also.
It's like the mafia. I've heard stories about like in Italy, and it's just, oh my god, like really, like
And when it comes to money, Thomas, how much was a typical dog or Amstaff, especially in the 60s and 70s?
Well, Mr. Ringo, he had this idea that, he always asked $100 for a Kimbo puppy.
$100.
Can you imagine Kimbo?
Oh, no.
He got $100 for Kimbo puppies, and that's all he asked. And I think finally somebody talked him into raising it to 150.
Yeah.
But he for most of his life got $100 for the puppies. For even back in the 60s, that wasn't much.
No.
So he did not do it for any money.
No.
He did it out of the love for the breed.
Yeah.
You know, he started out in Mississippi. He was raised as a boy in Mississippi, and he had pit bulls.
Yeah.
And then he went after 1936. He went with the AKC version, But he always was a person who was a guardian of the breed.
Oh, I wish I could.
Wanting to make them the best that they could be.
Yeah.
And about the health issues before and today, because today we listen so much to talk, and we have the health tests, and many people says I don't breed because there are dysplasia grade and this and that. How people at the time do it without health tests, without nothing, and to have dogs completely functional, completely healthy, dying at 14, 17, 20 years old sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, my dog lived to be 14, and he never was sick. And he lived outside in all the weather.
It's like people today, they were tough back then, you know?
Yeah, I never heard of dogs being really sick, but then you've got to understand it was a different world back then. And, you know, talking to Jack Payne and others who bred from Gallant dogs, he said any dog that did not conform to the quality he was looking for, you know, these are old school hardline guys.
They were,
you know, he would call them. Any of them that exhibited anything less than total fearlessness, he would call them. Well, today that's not a thing that people want to do, but back then it was normal. And I said, "What did you do, Jack?" I said, "Did you take them in and euthanize them?" No, it cost too much. I said, "Well, did you what do? Shoot them?" He says, "No." He said, "A bucket of ice water is better for." But it was. I know it's harsh. I know it's harsh.
Yeah.
But it kept the breed strong. It kept the breed
that's
strong.
What they did. And it's like today, if you, oh my gosh, like that person, I don't even want to think about it.
You know, it kept the breed strong, and only the best came to homes.
Yeah.
And
they
after
take them to the vet.
And after there are people that arrives to see, like I say, the rakes on the eyes, and just by the movement of a dog, you know he's dysplasic, or if you have bad elbows, by the position when they stack, or whatever, when they jump, you see really well. I have 3 dogs, and I'm going to health test them because they just turned 2 years old now, and I was waiting for the good moment because before 2 years old, it's nothing to do it. But I'm almost sure I already talked to my wife. We're going to have these grades, and when I made it, I am almost sure I'm going to have these grades on each one.
Yeah.
They have not the good. They are in the desert.
Yeah, I think they have some connectivity problems. Yeah. It's very interesting to hear from the old days, and it's quite annoying somehow when you hear that the price of the dogs was so cheap.
I'm gonna try this on my phone. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes. Sounds good. No, we lost them again. But because now today it's I'm not sure, but it's like €2,500, €2,000 or something for a dog. So
and more. I know dogs. I know dogs from Show World. They ask 18,000, Kato.
Oh,
18,000, 15,000 for Show World.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And
there are people that pay it.
Yeah, there are people that's so crazy in my mind because and then all of a sudden you get you don't get the breedings that are done because of the love of the breed. They then start to breed for money. Yeah.
Just that.
So
Just
we
that.
talked a little bit about the price of the dogs here in Europe. How's the price if you're gonna buy a show Amstaff in the States today?
You're looking anywhere from 2,000 American dollars to about 5,000 American dollars, and I've even seen 8.
Wow.
And back when I was in the breed, in the show ring, there was no money to be made in Amstaffs. It was just pure out of love.
It's all money
Yeah.
now.
It was
It's all
out of
money.
love only.
I've seen a male. I can't, and I seriously can't remember the names of the dog. But if you go to the website, it's called like gooddog.com, and it shows a list of all the American breeders and all the European breeders, and you can compare the prices, and they're pretty pricey. And out west, even more, because everything out west is more expensive.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know why. Even the dogs.
Yeah. Even the dogs. Yeah. I remember
Sorry, Kato. In my last 2 meters, I saw 2 dogs. All the others are in families. One is with the mounts. They asked me one puppy. I offer a puppy. Another is in also in America, a beach. Yeah. Another is in Brazil. It was a partnership with this Betty that was here. And I only sell 2 puppies. And like I like to joke, one is sold to my wife, Jenny, in Sweden. And I take Jenny as bonus in the end.
Yeah.
As bonus.
Yeah. And back in the days, did the breeders keep a lot of dogs?
It depends on who you're talking about. Peggy Harper she kept dogs.
Yeah.
Ormsby kept dogs. They both bred a good bit of dogs. They pretty much had dogs, like year round.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 that were the main ones. That I don't want to say pumped out, but they produced a lot of litters every year. Peggy Harper, yeah.
And Carver.
Who?
Carver. Wasn't she with him?
Yeah,
she bred with him.
Yeah, but
Well, that's the history.
That is another history.
That's another history. I could tell you about him. Anyway, we won't go there.
He's bad.
I listened to talk that Peggy Harper arrived a moment she have 60 dogs in the kennel.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to have had Rebel because he was the best thing she ever produced. Yeah. And I wound up with him. I'm very, very happy or very blessed to have had that because a lot of her dogs I didn't like. I did like Sky King. I did. Now that wasn't her dog though, that she bought him.
Okay.
Rebel beat him in the specialty, but I think who was that? Gray Boy and others.
Ruffian Gray Boy of Harwood.
She advertised in Dog World magazine, had a picture of Gray Boy, and that was for like 10 years.
He was nice.
But she had some nice dogs mixed in with some not so nice dogs, and that's what most breeders wind up with. Some really good ones and some that are not that great. But
he was a beautiful dog.
But I was very happy. She was not when Rebel won the 69 specialty. She wouldn't even talk to me. She was so mad. But I told her, I said, "Hey, he's got Harwin on his name. You're the breeder.
Yeah.
So you should be happy your dog won."
Yeah.
She was wanting Sky King to get a 4th championship.
Oh.
She was mean, kind of, I think.
Yeah. She had problems.
Yeah, and we talk about that a lot in this podcast when it comes to weight pulling, that the competitive edge or the competitive nature of ourselves is often a big hurdle in life, especially when it comes to the dogs. And it feels like she had the competitive side in her as well.
She did.
And she was the only woman at the time in the middle of men's.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be hard
exactly.
also.
You're exactly right.
If
you look at the table with all the officers of the STCA back then, I've got photographs I took. all men, all men, and they were real men. There were no woke men in there. Okay.
No.
They were all men, and so the breed went that direction.
Yeah.
Went that direction.
Yeah.
Today it's not so much, and so the breed has gone a different direction. I'm not saying that women changed the breed. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that that society and the things required in society have led to the changes in the breed, and the money that has increased people can actually make money on these dogs now. And the ones that do that, I don't think they're helping the breed. Most of them aren't helping the breed a lot.
And it's not wrong to make money. I don't feel that it's a huge responsibility. You got to feed them. It's and vet bills and ear crops. It's a lot. It's not about this, but some of the price is too much.
Ringo and Stinson, they lost a lot of money on their dogs, but they love the breed.
And co-owning, co-owning people, they started doing that because co-owning. I don't like co-owning, but people did it, I think, to do for the bills, the vet bills and things like that.
It deferred the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Co-owning is a scary thing. Sometimes you can co-own and it works. And, I'd co-own with you guys because for me, it's like family,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we lost them again, but as they say, co-owning is a hard thing. It's mixing business with pleasure, and that's always a tough
you have to make
do.
You have to make it in family. You have to make it in family with people that you know since a lot of years. You have to make it around your circle. I don't going to tell how much I spent, how much I put in all these years until I arrive to the last reading. But I have 10 times, 15 times until I have my money. So there are a lot of money put in inside because it's not that the goal. The goal is have these dogs for my kids, for my family, for my friends. And if I arrive to sell one puppy to pay the bills or help to pay the bills, I'm happy.
That is good.
But the condition,
why do it? You got to do something. But the co-owning, I think, helped with that because things. And I don't know. Health testing here, oh my gosh, when Bull gets 2, we're gonna do the hips. It's expensive. It's over like $1,000. Actually, it's probably about $1,000, and they do the x-ray, but it goes up and up and up and up because
well, back in the 60s there was very little expense to showing and breeding dogs. There was very little
health testing back then.
And the costs have gone up on everything, and they didn't have the testing they have now that cost money. And the ear cropping back then was just a few dollars, and now it's it's a lot. And then this that's why costs have gone up, and that's why that's helped in changing the breed as well.
And
I love natural ear, cropped ear, but I do love a cropped ear. I love it,
It's illegal here to crop the ears. So we have and it's been, I don't know, but it's been for at least 20 years, I think, even more than that. So we don't have any cropped ears pretty much in all of Europe now. So
do you have people in Europe who are for it, or is like everybody like, oh, they are, so they're just
there are people that are for it, but I think there are not that many now because we haven't had cropped ears in so long. It's maybe some American imports that comes cropped, but otherwise it's pretty much Russia, I think they crop their ears, but otherwise it's nowhere pretty much to be found in Europe anymore. So
that's interesting. So Great Danes and Doberman Pinscher.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they all got the tails. The boxers has the tails, and it's
and
they're trying
the
to
dog
do
show
it here.
world, even FCE, the dog show world FCE in AKC is still allowed, but the FCE dogs, it was forbidden in 2013, 2014. It was forbidden. They stopped it there.
They're trying to do that.
Only private shows it's allowed, like Bungiganza that starts now, or the Major, or those private shows, it's still allowed to appear with the crocodiles. But in FCE official shows, that makes already 10 years or something around 11 years. It's forbidden. Crocodiles.
I mean,
And in Sweden even longer. So
Yeah.
If it's done correctly, it doesn't even hurt. I mean, they don't even acknowledge it. It's just it's just and it heals so quickly.
They tried to tell me, keep him quiet, and I was like, well, good luck, because it's just, he didn't feel a thing. He was going crazy like the first night. I go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And another problem we have today, it's the globalization, that the before, at your time, sir, all the dogs, it was in America, concentrated in Texas and in Detroit and so on, in a couple of towns in the end, or a couple of states. Today, everything is spread. Send a puppy to you on the transport, the handler to take it, all the laws, all the things, put it together, a bloodline, put it together, that puzzle of genetics. It's really hard. Or you work with people like you that love it and have a semen, or have a puppy, a dog that is compatible with your blood. But in the end, it's on the other side of the world. And put that all logistics together, it's not easy. It's a really messed work.
It is. It really is.
You really need to have the passion then, and do it for the love of the breed, because it's a lot of money, it's a lot of time invested in travels and everything. That's the
key. I believe that's the key right there.
And their family, they're your family members. You have to take care of them, and it's, if you have a few, I couldn't handle. I don't know how you guys do it with 3. You guys are amazing, because 3, I could do 2, I could maybe do 3, but it's a lot, and you guys do so amazing.
I used to say to people that go from 1 to 2, it's more than the double the work. It's like threefold. But go from 2 to 3, it's no biggie, because you already have to dedicate all your time to the dogs. So one more is no big difference from 2 to 3. But from 1 to 2, it's a big difference. Yeah.
The biggest problem we have, it's they all have the same age. We have them all since puppies. They have 2 months difference. So they are growing together. They defy themselves when they are outside one display, the 3 display at the same time. At home, if one starts defying the others to play, the 3 going to play. It's different. If you take dogs each 2 years or each 3 years when they are adult, it's completely different. Because the adult going to teach the puppy and so on. And we have the 3. And I said it's the first time and the last time. I don't want more 3 puppies at the time. No. It's a really big work. And we have to make tracks. My wife is a typical Swedish. They love to make tracks upstairs. And they walk a lot and made their tracks. And she made it daily. And each day they have those kind of bones. It's not bones, it's skins, dry skins and everything. But we try to occupy them and work their brains with a lot of things in the day. 10 minutes training, education, and the tracks and the bones, and change them in crates and free them and play. And you have to know how to do it also, because it's not easy. If you don't have that knowledge, it's not easy to do it. No. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all for the love of the grand old breed, the grand old breed love.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, we lost them again. Hopefully we get them back, because we're soon here. Because
we are arriving in the end of the time.
Yeah. We have 10 minutes left of recording time. So hopefully they get back soon here, and then we can start to finish it off, because here they are. Awesome. It's quite funny, because we had a recording yesterday in Swedish, and we had some technical issues, and we this will be episode like 88 or something of the podcast, and I think we have had 10 episodes that have run smoothly without any technical issues. So yeah, but this one really moves on good anyways. So yeah,
I'm glad we're able to do it anyway. See, where we live very far out from everything, so it's probably our Wi-Fi or something like this. Definitely.
No problem at all. Yeah, so as I said to Filipe here just a minute ago, we have 10 minutes of recording time left. So I'm thinking about that we should start to try to wrap things up. And Thomas, do you have anything else that you think that we've missed? I know you have a lot of things probably, but is there anything you would like to add here before we start to finish the recording?
What I would like to do is just encourage you by what I see and what I've observed with with Filipe and others, that they're on the right track. The heart is there, and the
keep on scratching.
Yeah, just keep on pursuing, making the best dogs you can, the standard dogs with good temperaments. You're doing a great job, and you're on the right track. I'm very encouraged seeing this, and I want to encourage you by what I see. The show ring and the dogs out there, things change over time. There is, I think, a lot of hope for the future in producing really nice dogs, and with everything you're looking for in temperament, and with pedigree. And I just want to just encourage you both. keep going and keep venturing to produce the best dogs you can. I believe you're doing a great job, and just want to encourage you to keep on doing that, because the breed needs it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we're going to try to do it, and more elder people comes to us, and they have Siemens and everything, and in the approach future we're going to make the nice things, because if it's not like that, the Punk genetic is so little and so limited that otherwise the things will be lost. And in my humble opinion, it's already too hard to keep them by Ruffian, Tacoma, Expert, because we're going to arrive in a moment we have to outcross. We have to go into that patrimony. I don't say going to be lost, because you insert again like May the Thornsby, but it's not easy. It's not easy because there are not enough beaches. The people that have Siemens, they are all in fight with themselves. It's little clans. It's sometimes histories from 30, 40 years ago. And I have the Siemens, but I don't want puppies in the hands of that one. And but I don't have nothing to do with that. If you want my beaches, if you want my blood, I have the command in my blood. You want to work with me, and it's only on that. And I hope the people that see the podcast listen this, because it's the same that I tell them in private. We can put that wars and that clans and all those private problems in the middle of this. I'm not American. This is the American breed by excellence. I'm trying to preserving something that belongs to you guys. So stop a little bit with your wars, with your things, and let's do it.
I love it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I really hope that we can, that everybody can come together and for the best of the breed. And
absolutely.
I really love the breed. I was in a couple of years here was on my way to explore another breed, but the last couple of months there, it's been I've been coming back, because it's something special with this breed. It's it's hard to put a finger on it, but it's the breed.
It is hard. It is difficult, because people go, why do you love it so much? I don't know. But when you think about it, it's like, yes, we love it. They're an amazing breed. They do everything with heart, 100% heart. They fight for you. They fight in different ways, but they're everything they do, they put 100% in.
Yeah.
And as I say many times, if it's not with heart, then
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, what a pity.
the old
You had something
the old
really good
timer-
to say there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to say it. The old
Yeah.
timers said once an arm stuff, always an arm stuff.
Yeah.
Once you know these dogs and you live with these dogs, you don't find another one because it's a complete dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. They'll do anything any other breed can do and do it better.
Yeah.
I believe you guys are on the right track, because I saw the people that you're interviewing, the
Yeah.
list of people you're interviewing, and I believe they're sincere
They are.
about the breed. So
They
you
are.
guys are definitely on the right track.
You are.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
say something before, sir. You don't
I'm
say
sorry.
something before we cut it. You don't say something before we cut it.
What
If
did
it's
you
not
say?
from the heart,
Oh, if it's
Oh,
I said if what you're doing is not from the heart and it's not based on the heart, it's not worth doing.
then don't do it.
If there's no heart in it, it's not worth doing.
Exactly. That's
like
heart-
everything in life, I think.
It is.
everything.
It is.
Everything.
And heart has to do with love, the love of the breed, not for money or for a business or for
No.
accolades for yourself. Nothing like that. It's truly about the love of the breed,
It is.
the heart. of
Yep.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's really nice words to end this podcast episode. So I'm very, very excited that you wanted to join, and maybe it will be another episode later on that
It was
you
an
can rejoin.
honor to do it.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it, guys.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank
This is
you.
wonderful. I want to do it again. Enjoyed it very, very, very much.
Yeah. I hope you're not too tired, Thomas, but yeah, it's
Good, thank you.
He's
I'm
doing
good.
good.
I'm good,
Yeah.
thank you.
almost 2 hours. It's impressive. Yeah.
That went by
Great.
very fast.
Yeah, it is. It did. It typically go very, very fast. So and it's because I think we do it, at least from my side. I do this because of the love of the breed, and also in my case the weight pulling. This comes 100% from the heart. It's nothing. We earn nothing on this economically. It's just an expense, but it's a happy expense for my part. It's very, very nice to talk to people like you. I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. Yeah.
We enjoyed
Same here.
talking to
We
you as well.
loved it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Great, and thank you, Filipe, for being the.
And thank you.
Yeah, I can't find the English word for it, but the spider to pull all the
Batman,
strings together
Batman.
here.
Someone,
Yeah.
someone call me
like
Batman.
a marionette.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
It's
We are
okay.
here for that.
We know. We understand.
Yeah,
That was
awesome.
good.
Great.
Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
so-
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Bye-bye.
And
Bye-bye.
goodbye, and
Thank
take
you.
care, everybody.
Thank
Awesome.
you,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Thank you.
See you soon.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.